All right, guys, it's time to check out the limited edition Bulova Mil-Ships-W-2181. I don't know, a bunch of part numbers there. I'll put a link in the description down below. And big thanks to Mimo for allowing me to check this out and share it with you, because this is the actual limited edition one. This is number 508 of only 1,000. You can see the price tag's kind of cut off there. It's actually $1,990 retail. There is a less expensive model that is like almost the same watch. The less expensive one is only $895. And maybe that is the one you should go after, because with this one, I mean, really what you're getting over the, just under $1,000 one is basically you're getting the Sellita SW200 and obviously the limited edition factor, the Caseback, which I'll show, and you're getting this really nice plastic bell helmet display for the watch. So yeah, I mean, that's cool stuff and all, but it's like $1,000 more. So, can you justify it? The people that are going to justify it are the people probably like people like me and some of the friends I have that would almost always rather have the limited edition variant of whatever the watch is. Even if the non-limited edition one is 95% the same watch, I'm still going to gravitate towards the limited edition one. That's just the way my brain works. I think a lot of other people do too. So you can kind of take this video to show you like both of them, because like the main things that are different you can't really see anyway. The Miyota movement that's in the other one, it beats at 4 hertz. So does the Sellita on this one. So, not a huge difference. The case and the watch design and the story are all going to be the same. So you are looking at a 41mm watch, a 50mm lug-to-lug. You can see a very, very satin finish everywhere on the case. So very tool-like and meant for what it was built for, diving. So drilled lugs on this guy, screw-down crown, 6.1mm crown, 200-meter water depth rating. I have to show, and I'll try to do the best I can, but this bubble sapphire crystal with AR coating is ridiculous. I forget who told me. It's almost like they took a bowl. It might even have been Mimo. It's like they took a bowl and like flipped it upside down and put it on the watch. I mean, it looks like a glass bowl just stuck to the top of the watch. 15.5mm thick, including that bowl on there. 16mm lug width. That's where a lot of people stop right there. And I get it. I can see why you would. But they did a true representation of what this watch, its origin is, because they never actually produced this watch, which I'm going to talk a little bit more on that in a minute. So 16mm, it's going to come on this really nice fabric strap. Good luck finding 16mm straps anywhere else. So this one should last a long time. I'm sure you can find more or re-buy more of these. And it weighs in at 92 grams. In its current configuration. You can see it's pretty simple construction on this, just folded over and stitched, so it has a floating keeper there. Before I forget, let's take a look at the case back. Let's zoom in on this because the case back is awesome on this. Now, I don't know what the case back looks like on the non-limited one, so I don't know if it still has this same case back and they just exclude the numbering there, but I mean, hopefully they have the same case back on the other one, because the case back is awesome. Absolutely love it. I'm looking at this. I wonder if they're using the same style as, they didn't even talk about this, and I'll see if I can find some information, but this case back is mounted perfectly, right? And if you take a closer look at the ring that is supposed to screw down and unscrew, I think this is kind of like done like how Vostok does it. If it is, then this watch is like next level cool, because I've been begging for companies to do this. And I think this might be what that is done here. So what I'm saying is the case back would have a fixed position that sets down on a flat gasket, and then this retention ring tightens down and it doesn't move the gasket. So you never mess up the integrity of the gasket. It just compresses it down. If that's what's happening here, I don't know if anybody can confirm. This is a new watch and it's limited. There's no way I'm unscrewing this. So I'll have to verify it some other way, but really cool case back on that. And I just noticed that as we were videoing. So here's a look at the dial, and yeah, reflections like crazy because of that bowl on there, but it is very, very cool. Nicely finished watch, very consistent, smooth everywhere. You have a nice grip on the bezel. You have a nice bezel insert. I did pre-test the loom. The loom, spoiler alert, it sucks. So I will show the loom, or lack of, at the end, but it is disappointing. So maybe they wanted to stay really true to heritage, and I'm sure loom back then sucked too, so they're like, yeah, let's make it suck. I don't know. Maybe that's what they did. I don't know. So I think we covered pretty much everything that I wrote down for my notes. So the other thing I want to talk about real quick before we do a wrist shot, speaking of wrist shot, I'm actually wearing the Bulova Devil Diver. I warmed up to this thing way more than I thought I would. I have been wearing it for the last couple of days. It's crazy comfortable and it's just brilliant. All right, so it does come with a limited edition card, and it's actually numbered. It does say 508 of 1000. But this little booklet here goes over kind of the historical sides of thing regarding this particular model. You're welcome to pause this and read this whenever you feel the need. But so in the 50s, this watch was created, but it was never actually produced for like consumption. It was, I think, produced, but it never actually made it to production. So there's a look at the original from the 50s. So they kept true, I think, is what they accomplished here. And I think that's awesome that there's a bunch of brands out there that have, you know, archives of models that they never produced, and then the ones that they actually did produce that they can, you know, pull back from their history and reproduce. So my only concern is, are there any models that they're making right now that could happen, you know, in another 20, 30, 40, 50 years? I worry that there might not be. I'm sure there is. They're just not as obvious to us. I don't see any information here regarding how that case back is done with that gasket. So I'm going to have to look to somebody for confirmation on that. Okay, so before I do the wrist check, I want to talk about the bezel. The bezel has like a little bit of movement in there, but it's not like play really. So in order to move the bezel, it's bidirectional. You have to push it down, and you have to really push it down, and then it's bidirectional however you want to do it. So the thought process here is, I think too many people get hung up on the okay, there it goes, it locks in. So once it locks in, it's locked in. You cannot bump this. You would, even if you were to bump it and push down on one side, it will not turn. You have to actually physically push the entire bezel down to get a rotation on it. And then once it locks up top, it snaps into place solid. So I'm digging the way this bezel's done. It's not as satisfying as like a fidget spinner, but this isn't a fidget spinner. This is a dive watch. In a dive watch, you don't want your timing to be messed up. This one, your timing is never going to get messed up. I cannot think of a single scenario where that would be messed up. All right, so here it is on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. 41 by 50 works great. The 16 millimeter lug width, I get it, guys. It's goofy, but when you actually get a chance to try one of these on, I don't know, it's just kind of cool because like it's full on heritage. It's more than just faux loom. It's like they had like a stockpile of new old stock and then threw sapphire and a current movement in it, and we're like, here you go. So I think that's really cool. All right, let me see if I can get this off my wrist and do a loom shot before the 10-minute mark. There you go. I told you it was weak. I mean, it's actually really weak, guys. That part I'm kind of bummed out on. I mean, the Devil Diver is actually brighter, and it doesn't have crazy loom. So maybe it actually is new old stock and they just threw in a movement in it. I don't know. I'll see you guys in the next video.